Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some new DLC Datamine breakdowns to go over for the Indigo Disk DLC. Some really interesting things to get into and talk about today. So if you're excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on these datamines. Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, a massive shout out to Jan for these different Twitter threads, because basically all these datamines come from a Chinese forum post, and obviously they need to be translated and everything like that. So a massive shout out to Jan for doing all the translations and compiling all of this information for us. So they start things off by saying, alright, let's talk about some random stuff in the Chinese datamine thread. So the Chinese dataminer has explained why they could figure out more stuff in the codes than Matt. So if you don't know who Matt is, basically he is kind of like the main dataminer in like the English speaking community. That's where we get a lot of information from when like new updates drop and obviously DLCs drop and it all gets like data mined. It's usually him that is kind of like behind everything. So that's why we kind of like hold him to such a high regard, because he just gets all the information to us like pronto. But basically the Chinese data miner in this situation is saying why they could get more information than Matt. So I'm not translating that explanation in English because it's too difficult for me. So anyway, just keep in mind, if you don't believe such info can be figured out from the codes, feel free to leave a comment and say why you think that's not the case, because data mines are completely different to leaks. I mean, they are a leak at the end of the day, but this is information that's come from the actual game codes. It's not like being told to us like Riddler-Coup is not a data miner. He just knows information from a source and he tells us that. He's like a leaker, but data mines are completely different. They are literally in the game's code. It's why we knew about like the 7-star Mewtwo raid battle before that went live and stuff like that. I personally believe that these do have high potential to be actual case in the update. So, full of Indigo Disk spoilers. So, according to the data mine, they're in an NPC code named Zombie you can interact with normally in Masui Town. So obviously we know about the zombie kind of code name in the Indigo Disk datamines, but apparently you can also interact with them as well. So obviously we thought that zombies were going to be like being mind controlled from like Dokutaro and stuff like that, and maybe they still are, but the fact that you can interact with them, maybe they aren't as like dangerous as we like first thought, especially because they're in Masui Town as well, so they're literally in a town. So I don't know if Dokutaro kind of like takes over like a whole town and then we like go back to it and then everyone's like zombified or something, but either way, it's T10 Zombie Pop-Up in Masui Town. So Zombie is the NPC codename, and Pop-Up means this NPC will have an orange speech bubble pop up when you walk close to them. So there's obviously some sort of story element as well that goes into this whole like zombie situation that we have to go up to because of this orange speech bubble. So since data show who will talk in plot order, it is roughly figured out that the main plot for the Indigo Disk will be something like this. So of course, you know, story spoilers, potentially anyway. This is just one way that we're viewing it. This is information taken from the codes, and this is kind of the story that we're expecting it to be. It could still be something different. This is kind of like the most logical answer, though. So Clavel calls you. You then go to the Blueberry Academy and meet Serrano and Lacey. Then Carmine and Drayton show up for some reason. After some plot, you challenge the Blueberry League. I mean, that's not exactly like a spoiler. We knew we were going to be challenging the Blueberry League. All it really goes into detail here is how we like get there and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we know we're going to have to challenge the Elite Four Blueberry Academy and stuff, so that's not crazy spoiler. And then after you go through the Blueberry League challenges, Geeta and Rika show up. So that's obviously very, very interesting. Seemingly, Briar is allowed to enter Area Zero with some additional criteria. Likely she isn't allowed to go alone. After they settle that out, you go into Area Zero with Briar, Carmine, and Kieran. I mean, it makes sense because we know that Briar's going to be like a... We know we're battling her, but obviously Riddler-Coup came out and said that it's a very... it's like a very bad battle. Like, it's not very exciting. It's nothing to get like our hopes up about. Which we thought she was going to be like the main antagonist and stuff, but because she's not a very good battler, maybe because we've become the champion of Paldea, we've done the Teal Mask, and we've become the champion of the Blueberry Academy, Briar's like, look, I need some help going into Area Zero. I've got access into it. I just need to go with a really strong trainer. And maybe that's why we accompany her into Area Zero. That's the most logical thing that I can really think of. So that's all of like the story stuff. But we actually have a lot more information to go over as well by Jan, talking about like side quests and stuff like that. So, all right, let's talk about side quests now. So basically, side quests can range a lot. Like, there are side quests from random NPCs that give you camera emotes or something lame like that. Those were skipped in the thread. So there are, I mean, the camera emotes are something that popped up quite a bit in the Teal Mask DLC as well. But it looks like we're going to be getting a lot more in the Indigo Disk. I mean, we know we're going to get a lot anyway, because I think it was data mined by Matt a while ago, showing all the different, like, camera emotes that we're going to be getting, and there's, like, a few other things. Like, there's loads of actual additional content we're getting in the Indigo Disk. So, obviously, a way of us to get that is through, like, NPC, kind of quests and stuff like that. But yeah, looking like we're going to be getting a lot of camera emotes from random NPC quests. So like I say, this is full of side quests, and we also know that in order to like in order to obtain the starter Pokemon or to encounter the starter Pokemon in the wild, we have to complete side quests as well. That isn't a leak or data mine. Nintendo of America literally tweeted that out. So there are side quests for literally everything. So it's going to be a lot of side quests. Anyway, so S2 Side 1 is a large side quest involving Arven, Penny, Nimona, Kieran, Carmine, and their grandparents. Remember, a side quest isn't part of the main story, so that sounds like a massive storyline, even though it's not part of the main story. So in the codes, the Arven conversation starts with no pop-up. Pop-up means that the side quest is triggered by interacting NPC with an orange speech bubble. So yeah, maybe he like calls us, or he just like bashes through the door when we're in somewhere and like says that we have to do something. But yeah, usually we'd have to go up to someone and like interact with them, and that's how we would get the quest. But because there's no pop-up for this one, it literally happens on its own that we can't really control. So there is no pop-up in Arven's starting text. So basically this suggests that the side quest also triggers, auto-triggers should I say, by the system. Either Arven just walks up to you when you enter somewhere, or he simply calls you. So the text goes fully Arven talking after the system text, then ends with another system text. So they suggested that Arven calls you, which is one system text, he says a bunch of stuff, and then the phone hangs up, another system text. So yeah, a lot of dialogue to start off that storyline side quest, which again, there's going to be a lot of dialogue anyway, because it involves a lot of the main characters like Arven and Kieran and Carmine, Nimona, Penny. I'm assuming this might be post-game though, because if Kieran's a part of the quest, unless he's someone that we have to save, it's going to be like, he's going to be normal again, I'm assuming. So that's probably like post-game, after we like stop him from whatever this kind of like anger situation is. He's on. So in the next scene of the side quest, Nimona and Penny both have text first, then you and Arven. So that suggests that Arven called both of them out, or else it's difficult to explain why on earth Penny and Nimona just happen to be together for any other reason. So, I mean, you obviously are the group of four that kind of like stopped Area Zero and everything like that, so that's probably why they are all still linked together. But yeah, Arven talks to you, and then he gets Nimona and Penny kind of rounded up, and then you kind of like all talking together. So in the same scene, the Caretaker shows up from the Teal Mask DLC. This is that bold man who asked you to give him $1 million after finishing the DLC 1 story. Hope he's not asking for more money, because $1 million Pokédollars is not easy to come across. So he only shows up once in the DLC 2 text, so where could this scene be? They suggested Arven called everyone to Kitakami for some reason. I definitely believe we are going to go back to Kitakami in the Indigo Disk DLC, just like we went back to the Isle of Armor in the Crown Tundra to get Galarian Moltres. We do have that kind of like crystal pool, and I believe that that is going to be linked into the Indigo Disk in some way, shape, or form. I mean, there is a literal picture of Terapagos in the pool. The Area Zero music plays, Glimmor's there, Glimmet's there, Briar turns up there. You've got the whole terrestrialized Milotic scene as well, so I definitely believe that that will be linked to Indigo Discs or Area Zero in some way, shape, or form, which is why we go back. As well as that, like, Dokutaro is probably going to be a reason that we go back as well, because of the Loyal 3 and stuff like that. Then after a couple of scenes, Carmine and Kieran show up. The grandfather and grandmother also show up, who likely are the grandparents of, obviously, Carmine and Kieran. Two more characters we were introduced to in the Teal Mask DLC. You likely meet them in their home in Kitakami, not their whole family come out on a trip, right? So note it is totally possible these codes go unused for whatever reason in the final release if they seemingly decide to scrap this side quest. Since this seems like the only side quest that is heavily implied to be in Kitakami, is it possible this is the Dokutaro side quest? I can't see them scrapping this. It seems like a lot of detail has gone into this side quest, and I don't think Dokutaro pops up in the Blueberry Academy, or it pops up in Area Zero. I feel like we have to initiate something to happen, and we know that Dokutaro at least has some sort of significance in the Teal Mask. Like, obviously it's on the shopkeeper's kind of like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like what she's selling, like you have the Dokutaro thing there, and when obviously Kieran punches the Loyal 3, you see the purple kind of aura go into his fist. Like there are clearly some sort of like reminiscence of Dokutaro in the Teal Mask, so that's it very much likely is the Dokutaro side quest, which also it kind of asks a bigger question: how come Dokutaro isn't part of the main story if this is the side quest about him? So I start thinking that I know what the main storyline's going to be, but then things like this happen and I've just got like no idea now. So yeah, anyway, it is what it is. And then they go on to say, so side S2 side 2 is the Perrin side quest. So obviously Perrin is also back in the Indigo Disk DLC. We know this as well from the website, the Japanese website, I think. Actually, more importantly. So Matt brought this up before, so I don't think I need to go into details, but seemingly this side quest is shorter than the Ursaluna side quest. Wonder what it's about. Again, I'm assuming it's about Cleavor. Cleavor is part of the Indigo Disk Pokedex, just like Blood Moon Ursaluna was part of the Teal Mask Pokedex. It's another Hisuian Pokemon. Perrin has clearly got massive links to Hisui. We know this for a fact. I mean, she literally has a Hisuian Growlithe. So I'm assuming that she just wants to take a picture of Cleavor, but we know that Cleavor's not getting a new form or anything special about it because Riddler-Ku has already said that. But yeah, that's what I'm assuming the side quest is about. And then we have the side quest about Team Star. So Team Star is also going to be popping up in the Indigo Disk in some way, shape, or form. And as well as that, Cyrano also pops up on a different side quest as well. So, like I say, plenty of different side quests in the Indigo Disk DLC. This seemed to be a side quest with a Mary's, codename Steel, could possibly Poppy instead, but why would she give you a side quest? And then, as mentioned previously, this side quest are 25 static encounters that seemingly suggest to be returning legendaries. We've already spoken about that, how you're probably going to have to do a side quest for each individual legendary, and then you're probably going to be able to battle them. Again, that's most likely the case. We've spoken about it a lot. I won't go into detail about this. I've got loads of other videos about it. So this is the side quest about the 25 encounters, likely where to catch them. It's only cleared after this is done, so yeah, you can only do these side quests once a different side quest is done. And then also, this side quest is about a thing called the Psychro Machine. No idea what that does. That could very well be the PK Hex-like feature that we've obviously spoken about previously. And that could be something to do with like the IVs or the changing the boards, whatever. I mean, Riddler-Ku obviously did speak about that PK Hex-like feature a little bit. So yeah, the Psychro Machine could be that gameplay feature. So this quest, surprisingly, about a character codename Hakasi. So Hakasi means professor in Japanese. In Scarlet and Violet, this codename is specifically used for AI Sada and Turo. And then Koraidon and Miraidon also has text in there. So maybe AI Sada and Turo also return, and also something to do with Koraidon and Miraidon in that situation. So these are all side quests as well. Like, even with these massive main characters, like, imagine Sada and Turo, the AI, returning, and it's just a side quest. You'd think that'd be, like, part of the main storyline, but either way, there's been a lot of stuff to go over today about the side quests and the story and stuff. But again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I say, this is very likely to be legit because it's taken from the actual game codes. Of course, they could scrap it, but it's very, very unlikely because the Indigo Disk is coming out very, very soon. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment with your thoughts on these data mines. What are your thoughts on all these different side quests? What do you think the side quest could be about? Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace.